Do you ever wish you could say no without feeling bad about it? Well, for some people, saying no feels almost impossible. They agree to things they don't want to do, they give up time they don't have, and they end up exhausted, frustrated, and even sometimes really anxious. Now, Tommy was one of those people. He'd spent a lifetime saying yes to everyone. He was retired, a skilled tradesman, and people were always calling on him. Neighbors, relatives, friends. Tommy, could you give me a hand with this? Could you have a look at this? It always started as a small favor, but it rarely ended there. One job would turn into another, and before you know it, his whole evening was gone. He didn't mind helping, but more and more often, he'd catch himself thinking, why didn't I just say no? And by the time he came to me, he was having panic attacks and finding social situations harder and harder. He had no idea that these big problems were so deeply connected to one simple thing, his inability to say no. So we worked on it, and I gave him 3 short phrases that changed everything. Phrases that let him protect his time without confrontation or guilt. The first phrase was, I can't right now. I've got a lot going on at the moment. Now, most people, when they hear that, will just say, no problem, and they'll move on. But some people don't stop there. They can be a bit pushy, and they'll say, oh, come on, can you? Look, it'll only just take a few minutes. Could you just even have a look at it? So I gave him the second phrase. I'm afraid now is not a good time, but maybe I'll have some space next week. And that works with pretty much everybody. But there's always the odd person who keeps on pushing, the ones who are used to you saying yes. They expect you to say yes. And for those, I taught him the third phrase, and that is, honestly, I've an awful lot going on at the moment. It's not a good time, and I really can't get into it. One evening, a very persistent neighbor came knocking, and Tommy used all 3 phrases. He did it calmly, politely, and when he finally closed the door, and he had to close the door, he said he felt 2 things. He felt a pang of guilt, but he also felt an incredible relief, like he got his whole evening back. You see, boundaries don't have to be harsh. They just need to exist. And not every no has to be a 2-letter word, sharp and cutting like the tip of a spear. It can be soft, it can be gentle, but it can still be firm. So if this story feels familiar and you'd like to learn how to say no without guilt, I'm Clem Kelleher. I'd love to help you.